everyone, so today I will be doing a sample gates tutorial for you all to follow at home. So this is a simple design that you can add on with details as much as you would like with your art set that you were gifted. So to start, I always like to mark my dimensions and where everything will be. So this can change later on, but it gives me a good idea on how to start. So we want to mark where the two big pillars of sample gates will be. So first we start with the bottom part and make two horizontal lines that are aligned. I would say 3/4 of the bottom page. Then we will make small marks to have a reference on the space between the two of them. The idea is that they will not go closer than that. So then we will make the lines vertical from the small marks to start with the pillar structure. So I'm changing the position of the piece of paper because it is easier for me to draw that way, but feel free to move the piece of paper to accommodate yourself. So once you have that, go ahead and erase those small marks and make diagonal small marks that will help to make the structure a little more dimensional. Once you have that other mark on the horizontal line, this will be the space in which the pillar will be. So it should look like a little less than half of what you have in the horizontal line. So now I'm adding extra marks to visualize where the limit of the sample gate structure will be before we add the trees on each side. If you notice that your lines are not completely straight, you can always use a ruler or fix them as you go. So don't worry, no one is perfect. As you can see, I also got a horizontal line that was not completely straight, so I fixed that too. So now I'm adding another line. So where we put our pillar marks, you should draw another vertical line, a small space before the marks, to later add another vertical line to add more dimension. So now I'm adding extra marks to visualize where the limit of the sample gate structure will be before we add the trees on each side. So if you notice that your lines are not completely straight, you can always use a ruler or fix them as you go. So don't worry, no one is perfect. Actually, as you can see, I also didn't have a horizontal line that was completely straight, but I fixed that on the way, so don't worry about it. Now where we put our pillar marks, you should draw another vertical line, a small space before the marks, to later add another vertical line to add more dimension to it. So at the start of your diagonal line, you will draw a vertical line that would give the pillar another face. As you can see now that we have the two pillars, let's look at where the big entrance in each side would be. So leave a space the same size as your pillar and then mark it. And then leave enough space for the entrance and mark the other side. It should be a little symmetrical. So to better visualize this, let's move to the top where the sides of the walls will be. Almost at the top of what we have drew for the pillar, make an horizontal line until a little farther from the entrances on each side. you would like to do another horizontal line. And then make a diagonal line to later join the lines in a vertical line. So, of course, do the same thing on the other side. Now that you have a better idea of what we're doing and drawing, then extend the pillar lines to do the top part. And draw a type of triangle right on top of what you did. And then you will do another one, but the line at the top should be more horizontal. So kind of following the triangle you just made, just kind of close that, but the top part should be a little more horizontal. So once you have that, keep filling the tower up, following your previous lines. And once you have the new part added, close the pillar and draw 2 lines diagonally out to do the highest part of the pillar. So after that, we want to make like a small window. So start by doing the top of a triangle. I would say 3/4 of the top part, and then make vertical lines connecting them until the bottom of that highest part of the tower. So make a shadow on the left of that small structure that looks like a window, so we can add a little more dimension. So once you have that, go back again to the big entrances on each side, and then you will want to make another mark closer to the pillar sides to start with the door shape. It will be a bigger door shape than like the windows we did at the top. So the only thing to take note here, I would say make sure that both sides are symmetric. So on the inside of the side closer to the pillars, you will want to follow the curved door you just made, and this will create that nice dimension. So remember to stop the line a little before the first line that you made and make a diagonal line inward to create that illusion that the structure is going in. So once you're done with that, now you can make an horizontal line where the diagonal line starts until you can't go any further. So now we're making 2 marks to place the big lights they have at the entrance of the pillars. So start with a shape and then paint a triangle at the top with a small square with a point over that. So once you're done with the overall shape and the top part of it, draw a line in the middle of the shape you just draw, and then color the bottom part. At the top of the left pillar, you can add an IU flag and then later on paint it with red and make it fun. And now I'm adding some lines to add some texture to the sample gates that are made of the limestone here that we can find at Indiana. So just keep adding them around the structure and it will start looking great. It'll start looking a little more realistic and also give that brick limestone texture. So now that we're completely done with the sample gates, we can add some fun trees and clouds. I usually like to make the trees and the clouds not perfect and different from one another because obviously not a single tree looks the same and not a single cloud looks the same. So to add some texture to the tree trunk and the branches, you can just add more lines to it and it will start looking a little more realistic. And you can also work in the trees and the decorative elements as much as you would like. I specifically didn't work on the back of the sample gates, but you can add the clock tower, you can draw yourself in the middle of the iconic sample gates, you can draw more trees behind it, you could draw a squirrel if you would like, or anything you would really like. So be creative and really enjoy the process. I decided to add the place where IU plants their flowers year-round and went for small bushes. But you can add different flowers, you could also add tulips if you would like, and much more. So again, be really creative. You can really take inspiration on pictures if you would like, and really have fun with it. That I think it's the most important part of it. So now that we are done with the drawing, I would like to show you what I did with my drawing. I had a marker, so I just used some markers to add some colors. I added some different tones of greens. I used darker markers to do the outline, and then I painted some of them. The trees, I made some cool textures. You could do the same things. I know you have markers in your art kits, but you can also use aquarella paint to paint the sky. You could paint the trees with aquarella. You could use acrylic paint to do the different flowers if you would like, and you can also paint the sample gates with aquarella if you would like, or acrylic. So it really is up to you and how you want to be creative. But I hope you all enjoy this tutorial. I enjoy making it to all of you, and I hope that we see you in our next events with the Office of International Services. Thank you. Bye everyone.